They accused me of feeding stray cats. I wasn't. But the HOA fined me $400 anyway. I knocked. Asked why they lied. He said, "Don't bring your filth to our block." A week later, I found dead fish nailed to my fence. So I put a hidden camera under the porch. What it captured at 2:47 a.m. I haven't slept since. I live in Lakewood, California. Not a big city, not small either. The kind of place where people care more about their lawns than their neighbors. I moved there about a year ago after my divorce. I needed quiet. I needed space. Just me and a rented 2-bedroom with a dying lemon tree in the backyard. The street I moved to is part of a homeowners association. I'm not usually a fan of HOAs, but this was the only rental I could afford that didn't look like it was falling apart. My landlord told me he paid the dues and handled all the HOA stuff. Fine by me. For the first 6 months, nothing happened. I kept to myself, waved at people when I saw them. Nobody really waved back. Then one day, I came home from work a long shift at the auto parts store and found a piece of paper taped to my front door. Not in an envelope. Not mailed. Just taped with one of those cheap smiley face stickers you'd find in a dollar store, right over the top. It said, "Notice of violation. Feeding stray animals, specifically cats, is in violation of Section 8A of HOA guidelines. A fine of $400 has been added to your address. Failure to pay may result in further legal action. Please act accordingly." I stood there staring at it, rereading it like it would change. I've never fed a stray cat in my life. I don't even leave food out. I don't even own a pet. I have cat allergies. I sneeze just being near one. So I walked 3 houses down to talk to the head of the HOA, Mr. Kellerman. Everyone on the block knew him. Retired Navy. Tall, gray-haired, always mowing his lawn or picking weeds with those tiny scissors like he was grooming a golf course. His front yard looked like it was made of astroturf. When I knocked, he opened the door halfway, just enough for me to see the smug look on his face. Before I could even say anything, he said, "Don't bring your filth to our block." That was it.
No explanación. No conversación.
Just slammed the door shut. I stood there, stunned. Filth? What did that even mean? I tried contacting the HOA through the official email. No reply. My landlord said he didn't know anything about a fine but would look into it. He never did. I let it go. I shouldn't have, but I did. I figured it would blow over. Maybe someone saw a cat near my house and assumed things. Maybe it was a mistake. Then, a week later, I found them. 3 fish.
Dead.
Nailed to the wooden slats of my backyard fence. Not just tossed or dumped. Nailed. Big, rotting fish, like the kind you'd find left behind at a pier after the tourists went home. They'd been out in the sun for hours. The smell hit me before I even saw them. My stomach turned. I ran inside and grabbed gloves, a trash bag, a hammer. I was gagging while I pulled them down. Blood had soaked into the wood. The nails were long, rusted. Like someone planned this. I called the cops. They came, took a report, took a few pictures. But unless I had video or a name, they said there wasn't much they could do. Could be teenagers, one of them said. Could be some animal rights nut who thinks you're abusing cats. I told him I don't feed cats. I don't even like cats. Well, someone around here thinks you do, he said. That was it. So, I did what any reasonable person would do. I went online and bought a motion-activated security camera. $62.99. Took me an hour to install it under the back porch, angled toward the fence and alleyway. The next few nights, I checked the footage every morning. Nothing but raccoons and the occasional car. Until 6 nights later.
2:47 nachts.
The motion alert pinged my phone. I rolled over in bed, half asleep, expecting it to be another trash panda. But it wasn't. The figure in the video was human.
Tall.
Wearing dark clothes and gloves. They moved slow, like they'd done this before. They were carrying something in a black garbage bag. They walked up to the fence, looked around, and then they started pulling something out of the bag. That's when I sat straight up in bed. It was another fish.
Dead.
Headless. They nailed it to the fence, just like before.
Quick.
Efficient. Then they reached into their pocket and pulled out something else. A folded piece of paper. They stuck it under one of the nails. Then they looked straight at the camera. They knew. They didn't run. They didn't panic. Just stared for a full 10 seconds. Then turned and walked off like nothing happened. I haven't slept since. I didn't go to work the next day. I sat at my kitchen table watching that 10-second clip over and over, trying to see if I could make out a face. But it was too dark. And they were too smart. The hat, the gloves, the hoodie pulled tight. I couldn't even tell if it was a man or a woman. But the part that got me most, the way they looked at the camera. Not surprised. Not scared. It was like they wanted me to see. I waited until it got light out, then went outside. The fish was still there, nailed to the same spot. Flies buzzing around. The paper was tucked under the bottom nail. I put on gloves and pulled it out. It wasn't a typed note. It was handwritten. You've been warned. Leave.
No signature.
Just those 4 words. I called the police again. This time, I showed them the footage. They were polite. Took another report. Promised to follow up. But I could tell they didn't think it was a big deal. Could be a prank, one said. Some HOA neighbor trying to scare you off. I asked if they'd send someone to patrol the street at night. They said they'd try. When they left, I walked to the HOA office, a little converted garage behind Mr. Kellerman's house. I knocked. No answer. I knocked again, louder. Finally, the door creaked open. It wasn't Kellerman, it was his wife. Thin, bony face. Looked me up and down like I was trash on her front step. We're not open today, she said, and started to shut the door. I blocked it with my foot. I have video of someone vandalizing my property. Again. I want to know if you or your husband had anything to do with it. She smiled. That tight, fake kind of smile. We don't deal with rental issues. You should speak to your landlord. Then she leaned in a little closer. And maybe you should consider moving. People around here like things a certain way. That's when I knew. This wasn't just about cats. This was something else. I spent the next 2 nights on edge, barely sleeping.
Every little sound made me jump.
I started leaving a porch light on, bought a baseball bat, and kept it next to my bed. Then I got an idea. I still had a second camera, one I hadn't used yet. I set it up in the front yard, this time pointing toward the street. I figured if someone was walking in from the front, I'd catch them. And I told no one. 3 nights later, it happened again. 2:44 a.m. this time. The backyard camera got them. Same clothes. Same bag. But what they didn't know, this time I got their car. A black Lincoln Town car. Parked 3 houses down. License plate half visible, but enough to get the numbers. I reported it. Again. This time, the cop seemed more interested. 2 days later, he called me. We ran the partial plate. That vehicle belongs to a James Kellerman. I almost laughed.
Of course it did.
That's when I made the choice. I wasn't going to move. I wasn't going to hide. If they wanted a fight, they were going to get one. I started documenting everything, every letter, every incident, every ignored complaint. I printed out the footage, made USB copies. I filed a formal complaint with the city's HOA oversight department, something most people didn't even know existed. Then I called a local news tip line. Told them the story. Sent the video. They didn't respond right away, but I knew it was a matter of time. Meanwhile, I stayed low. Didn't answer my door unless I knew who it was. Parked my car 2 blocks down, just in case they decided to mess with it. Kept checking the cameras every morning. Then 1 week after I filed the complaint, I got a letter. Certified mail. It was from the HOA, signed by someone new. An attorney. The fine was canceled. No explanation. Just voided. But that same night, something changed. Around 2 a.m., my backyard camera triggered again. This time it wasn't just one person. It was 3. All in dark clothes.
No bags.
Just standing by the fence. Looking at the camera. Not moving. Not speaking. They stayed there for over a minute. Then one of them walked up and calmly unscrewed the camera. I didn't even know how they knew where it was. The feed went black. That was 2 nights ago. And I haven't left the house since. I haven't called the cops again. What would I even say? That they stood there? That they didn't do anything, but somehow that was worse? The camera they took was found this morning, left on my front steps. Nothing broken. Just sitting there. Like a message. I haven't slept in 2 days. I keep thinking about the look on that man's face when I first knocked on his door. Don't bring your filth to our block. That's what he said. Now I understand. It was never about cats. It was about who they think belongs here and who doesn't. And every time I hear the wind rattle the fence at night, I wonder if they're out there again, just watching, just waiting. I keep telling myself I'll move, that I'll leave this place behind. But I haven't packed a single box. Because deep down, I think if I turn my back now, I'll never stop running. And I still don't know why they picked me. Or what they'll do next.